right now. All the models to the floor 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 right now.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the 148th edition of the Sports Reality. My name is Jeremy John, aka the fourth greatest Grenadian of all time, aka the Little Wayne of podcasts, because I will get on any podcast and hit it with the J train.
Perfect.
Let's welcome my co-host, BigThad. What's going on, my man?
What it do? What it do? I'm good, man. What's going on with you? You all right?
Doing good, man. How's everything going so far this week?
Good. You know what I'm saying? Finished one last project, and then I got one more group project, which I hate. I hate group projects. So good.
What is it about the group project that you hate?
I want to say it has to do more because everybody is all over the place. All right. So, like I'm here on the East Coast. Like, I might have somebody in like Texas, different time zone. Like I had actually this semester, I got one person that's in Afghanistan and like deployed in Afghanistan. You know what I'm saying? So like, I can't tell you how many hours ahead or what Afghanistan is right now, but you got to work with that and deal with that sometimes. And then you have some, other students where they really don't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? So like trying to communicate with them is an issue. Trying to get them to do their part of the project by a certain time period so we can get organize the whole project together into one document, stuff like that. It's just crazy, man. Sometimes I just end up taking over the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? Like being the leader of the group type deal.
That's what you got to do, man. Sometimes that is what you got to do with some of these group projects. Man, I had one for a sociology class where it was a group of 5 of us and 2 people didn't do anything like at all.
Right.
And because I did my part, I had to ask the others, like, yo, did they chime in with theirs? And like the other 2 were like, nah, like we did the rest. Like I was like, oh, all right. So when it came to the critique of the rest of the group members, I was like, man, they ain't contribute anything. Not a single thing at all. What's up, my man Miguel? What's going on, man? Thanks for tuning in to the show, man. What's good with you, man? Communicate with us throughout the show, man. We'll be looking forward to not only your comments and questions, also the comments and questions of everyone else out there watching right now on the live stream. We greatly appreciate it. BigThad, what else is going on in I guess with school? What else is going on with that? Specific group project that you had.
No, other than that, man, this one I have about 2 weeks left of this course, and then I have 2 more, and then I get my master's, man.
Hey,
it's been quick. It's been quick, bro. Like my first course was like, I want to say April of 2020. No. It was June of 2020. And now here we come. You know what I'm saying? Like I could finish up in September, but I have an internship coming up in May. So I'm gonna hold off on my final course until that internship's done, and then do the course. Either I'm gonna do the course in September, or I might hold off and do it till January, so I can potentially walk in person in May, upcoming May. Not this year May, next year May. You know what I'm saying? So
I feel you on that one because I'm graduating in the fall, and the way this country's acting up, I'm getting real nervous about an in-person graduation. And you know what? I didn't take this long to get a degree to then just watch it on the television screen. I know people had to do it last year.
you know,
But you know what? We can't do this again.
You know what? Let's try to time this out, man. You know what I'm saying? If we'll talk, right? And we'll make a decision because there could be a possibility we just graduate together. You know what I'm saying?
I'm trying to finish up in December. If anything,
No. I'm saying we walk, like you could finish up in December.
Yeah.
But you could choose to walk.
Oh yeah.
In December, or you can, walk in the spring. So it's up to you, man.
And
like,
that's what I'm gonna do. Like if they're talking about we're not having in-person graduations by December, I'm like, all right, I'm waiting till May then.
Like if you do that, they'll still send you your diploma.
Oh yeah.
So you'll have your diploma in the end of December, early January. But then, hey, if you want to hold it out until May-ish, depending. Because the reason why I might be holding out more so is because I don't want to do the online video that they send you and the little box they send you saying, congrats, you have graduated. And it's just a little box with like a couple little like party favors and whatnot. And that's it. No. So yeah, I mean, if you want to do that, we could do it, because that means we could get a lot of the family there with all the tickets we can get.
That's true. That is very, 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 very true, man. We got actually I just wrapped up 2 classes yesterday. I know for sure I got an A in one.
All right.
There's another one where I'm right on that line of a B and an A, like right there. So it all depends on how the teacher grades the last 2 assignments.
You know, they like to be petty. You know what I'm saying? It'll be like a half a point and they won't even round it up. You know what I'm saying?
This one professor, I don't think he's going to be petty. But I think I don't think he's going to be petty. So we'll have to see how it all plays out. I had one teacher last semester for my accounting class where I was a full like 2 points from an A. But she said, "Oh, you've been so great all year. I'm gonna just like put in some points somewhere so you can get an A." So I was like, "Well, thank you."
Hey, I was my GPA out.
Yeah, for sure. I have one class currently for the week, and then 2 more classes start next week.
Oh, okay.
So at the end of the semester, I'll be done with 15 credits. I feel like at this point in my life, I can't do 15 credits traditionally. I gotta break it up like this.
No, you got to. Nah.
I can't do it like I used to do when I was 18, 19 years old, doing 15 credits, traditionally, where you go into class nearly every day or 3 times a week.
Right. No, I feel you on that. That's how it was in community college.
Yeah, I gotta break it down. We got a lot to get into for today's show. We're gonna recap All-Star Weekend in the NBA, also other NBA news. My boy Dak Prescott. Perfect. We'll get into the news with Dak Prescott. Other NFL news. We'll also get into our sports free zone. We got a lot to talk about in the sports free zone. Going to talk about the new COVID relief bill, the interview, Oprah Winfrey's interview with Prince Harry and Princess Meghan Markle.
Hello.
Yep. We're going to also get into what were some of the other topics we said. I got to look at the rundown now. I actually have quite a few. Oh, Andrew Cuomo under fire. He's under fire. Whew. We're going to talk about the Black Lives Matter organization, the donations that they received recently, and what should come out of that. And All-Star Weekend from a fan's perspective. We'll get into that, and then we'll wrap up the show with part 2 of women's in sports. Women in sports. Last week we had Erica Fernandez. If you missed last week's episode, make sure you check it out on YouTube or Facebook on our respective pages. Also, subscribe to the podcast where podcasts are available, and that includes Anchor, Apple. We have Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and any other major podcast platform. Let's now get to
does Google have one?
They do, but I mean, we're on there. When I look at the stats,
right.
I think I don't think anyone actually uses Google Podcasts to listen to our podcast. Like,
I wasn't sure if they had a podcast thing. You know
yeah, people. I mean, people listen on all the other platforms.
Right. I got you.
Like, I get data that says, okay, you get a certain amount of listeners that listen on this platform and in that one. Google, big fat zero. But hey, we're on there still. So.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
It is what it is. Let's now get to NBA All-Star Weekend. Big Thad, did you watch any of the festivities for NBA All-Star Weekend?
Okay, so I completely forgot about the All-Star festivities. Completely forgot about it. Actually, a buddy of mine sent me a text. It was like, yo, this is dope. You know what I'm saying? I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, All-Star game. I was like, oh, okay. So I turned on the TV and it was already halftime of the All-Star game. So I did watch the dunk contest. Then I watched most of the rest of the game itself. But I didn't see the 3-point contest or the skills competition. But I didn't know who won the 3-point competition. So it was dope.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I felt like overall the weekend was for what was going on. I mean, we're still dealing with a pandemic. It is the pandemic season of the NBA. It was pretty decent. I mean, everything was in one day. I think it's a great model for the fans.
Okay.
But for the NBA, I understand one night you're losing out on 2 other nights.
Right. It's a lot. It's a lot in one day.
Because traditionally, you have the celebrity game on Friday night, then the rookie sophomore game on Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have the skills competition, 3-point shootout, slam dunk contest on Saturday night. Then on Sunday is the All-Star game. And let's remember, all 3 nights, the rookie sophomore game, the competitions that are on All-Star Saturday, and the All-Star game on Sunday all have sold out like admission.
Mm-hmm.
So you missed out on all of those. All that money.
A lot of money.
So you missed out on all that. So from a business standpoint, I know the NBA doesn't like that, but as a fan, I didn't feel like I had to give up 3 different nights to see everything. Because honestly, I don't even watch the rookie sophomore game. Really, I go back and watch like the highlights later. Mm-hmm. The All-Star Saturday night, usually I'm doing stuff Saturday night, either church league basketball,
turning up.
Turning up. So I'm kind of like, I'm not catching that. If you put it all on Sunday, it's Sunday. I'm at home.
Right.
I'm at home. I'm, there. Because if it was like a football Sunday, I'll be home also.
Right.
So it was good and it started like 6:30 on the dot. The All-Star game, the skills competition went real fast. Like it was done in less than 30 minutes.
Did they have the same amount of participants as usual?
Yeah, it was 8.
Okay.
Yeah, 8. Or was it 6? I think it was 8 or 6. I don't know. One of those numbers, but it wrapped up in less than 30 minutes.
Okay.
3-point shootout was less than 30 minutes also.
Wow.
Yeah, like it was then they let the all-star participants in the game warm up a little bit, and I believe it started around like 8:00, the game itself.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll get into that. But let's start with the results of All-Star Weekend. The skills competition was won by Domantas Sabonis. He was going up against Nikola Vucevic of the Orlando Magic.
Okay.
Mind you, this competition had Chris Paul and Luka Doncic in it.
Oh.
Yeah.
And those two?
Yeah, those two lost to those big men that were in the final.
Wow.
Domantas Sabonis did not. That man was on fire, like barely hitting the rim on his shots. It just got to the end because Vucevic actually was ahead of him, and Vucevic took the first shot. He missed. Sabonis took the next shot. He missed. Vucevic shot. He missed, and then Sabonis hit the next shot to end up winning it there. The 3-point shootout won by Steph Curry. Mike Conley did a very good job in the 3-point shootout. He put up 27, so Curry needed to put up 28. And he got 28 on the last basketball.
Yeah, he didn't look like he was going to win that. I saw a nice, I think it was on Twitter, and they showed that last him going around, and like his first round, I was like, yo, he's not gonna lose this joint at all. And then I saw that final.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow. I was like, he might not do it. He might not. I was like, oh shoot, last shot.
And even Reggie and Dwayne Wade, they were kind of saying, after I think one of the middle racks, they were like, oh, they don't think he has, but then he caught on fire. Do you like that format so they've changed the format?
Yeah.
Even last year was a little different, but this year was different. Traditionally, it's 5 spots, 5 basketballs on each rack.
With the money ball as the last one on the rack.
Yeah, on the rack. Then last year, they changed it where one of the racks are all money balls, and then the other 4 racks have the last basketball as the money ball. They had 3 racks that are in the traditional 3-point shots, the corner, top of the key, the 2 corners in the top of the key. But on the wings, they had areas that were further back.
Yeah.
But they were 3 points. And that's exactly what got Steph Curry back into the mix, because he hit both of those.
Right.
Deep ones. And that allowed him to, all right, let me catch up. Then he caught fire. But talking about Mike Conley real quick. He ended up in the All-Star game. Do you know this was his first time as an All-Star?
Yeah. Conley? Yeah, definitely. I mean, even when you've seen him play over the years, like you know he's a serviceable point guard with some, he's not the average point guard. He's pretty serviceable, even a little above average. But compared to everybody else, nah, I wouldn't. I'm not surprised that this is his first one.
Yeah, it's just that just shows how dominant some of these guards were in the West historically while he's been in the league.
Right.
That this is his first time, and I believe it really came because of an injury. That's what ultimately happened, I believe. He got it there. But I mean, he played well in the 3-point shootout. Then obviously the first half of the All-Star game. And that happened. Then the slam dunk contest. Let's get to the slam dunk contest. 3 participants: Obi Toppin, Cassius Stanley.
I think that's right.
And Anthony Simons.
Yo, that dude could jump out the gym.
So let me say this. Last week we spoke about the state of the slam dunk contest. I still stand by what I said about the state of the slam dunk.
Oh yeah, definitely.
at the same time, all three of those guys can jump out the gym.
Yeah. But you know what? No real, like, the creativity seemed like high schoolish. You know what I'm saying? Compared to usual stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like some of their dumps were just way too simple and easy. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't impressed. You know what I'm saying? Besides them being able to jump out the gym. You know.
Simon's with the one where he had the basketball on the little hoop. That was probably I guess you could say that's almost 12 feet, or it might have been 12 feet. And he grabbed it and threw it down. That was unique. To show off his athleticism. The one where he pretended to kiss the rim, I understand.
Right.
The concept. Like,
right. COVID.
It was just like, okay.
But you know what? The funny thing, they were like, yo, he should have actually kissed the rim.
Yeah, like, he should have actually done it instead of, playing as if he was like he did it. But anyways, it was only 3 because obviously they wanted Zion Williamson to be in it. He declined to be in it. Just want to reiterate this statement. The slam dunk contest is going to lack buzz if star players refuse to be in it. And it's just all it.
Big facts.
Like,
I think people only saw it because it was during the halftime of the All-Star game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Under normal circumstances, I bet you the ratings for the slam dunk contest and just the segment that is going on would have been lower than a lot of the past ones. And lately, a lot of people just want to see like the 3-point shootout. Like, there's more excitement with that lately.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And that's the thing with the change of the game of basketball. And then let's get to the actual All-Star game. Team LeBron won 170-150. It was pretty close at the end of the first quarter. It was the second quarter where Team LeBron exploded behind Giannis Antetokounmpo and Damian Lillard. They went off, but Giannis, 16 for 16.
I think he missed one.
No, well,
they end up missing one. Oh, they didn't count it?
I think they counted it as like a turnover.
Yeah, because I think he was at one point he was like 14 of 14, and then something happened. And I thought it was just a miss, and then they were like, 14 to 15, and I was like, oh wow,
yeah. Everyone thought that, but then the statistician, I guess, counted it as a turnover, like a loose ball instead of a shot attempt that allowed him to still have his perfect shooting percentage, and he ultimately did from the field. 16 for 16. He was the MVP. Damian Lillard hit the game-winning bucket, a deep 3. The players were talking. You were hearing them. They were interviewing them in between the games. They had some of them mic'd up throughout the game, so you were able to hear some of the conversation that they were happening. And Team LeBron was saying, "Oh, we're trying to win it on a deep 3." They could have easily won if they had just like tried to shoot like normal baskets,
right.
Out attempts. But they were like, "Nah, we're trying to have fun." But they were up by so much, so they just started launching threes when it was 167. So they're just like, let's just keep on shooting threes until one of them goes in. And Lillard hit one of them super deep. Bradley Beal on Team Durant, I believe, was the leading scorer. I believe he had 26 points. He started off the game with an air ball. And then after that, it was just like, oh, he's hot. Like it's one of those things that if Team Durant had won, it would have been a Bradley Beal. He would have won the MVP. That's how well he played. Zion Williamson, you could tell he was a little nervous. He fumbled some of the alley-oop attempts, botched a couple dunks in the beginning, but then he got a little more comfortable, and then you could see, oh, all right, he's good right now. But it was fun seeing Zion Williamson out there with a lot of guys that he grew up watching. LeBron James, this might have been the best thing for LeBron James. He got in the game as the starter, he played. But that second quarter when they blew out Team Durant, it was LeBron coasted. He didn't play like the second half. He barely played. And I think that was one of the best things. And this is my thing. I don't see why some players feel like, oh, I'm gonna go to All-Star game and I'm gonna work so much on the court. Right, I feel like they do work a lot off the court with all this off the court things that they do. But the actual game, you always hear people like, oh man, the game is gonna make them so tired for when they return. I'm just like, look, just get them in for 8-10 minutes, let them get a few highlights in, and no one's gonna really notice that LeBron's name's not in the game. And that's exactly what happened.
Right.
Especially late in that in the second half, he sat on the bench the entire time. Steph Curry had one of his patented shots and turning around before it went in. He had a couple of those. Those were interesting. Were there any other things that you saw in the game that was interesting to you?
The back-to-back half court shots between Steph and was it Dame?
Mm-hmm.
On their same, and they were on the same team. I was dying laughing. I was like, yo, this is crazy. LeBron knew who he was picking. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. There were two guys that did not participate in the All-Star game, and they were supposed to. Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons of the Philadelphia 76ers. They were put into health and safety protocol after their barber tested positive for COVID-19. So they were quarantined. They weren't allowed to play. Luckily for the NBA, they were on opposite teams. So each team was just down one player. And they are still in the health and safety protocol. As of now, they have not tested positive. So because of their recent contact with that barber, Joel Embiid for sure will not play, I believe, Thursday night, or is it Friday? And Ben Simmons, because he met that barber later, is not playing the first and the second game of the return from the All-Star break. They're not sure. I mean, and really, we don't need to know, but some people are kind of like, well, did the barber have a mask on? And that's why or did they not have a mask? And that's why they technically have to be in this health and safety protocol. Regardless, the NBA is taking this serious. And just someone that you were in close contact with, even with a mask, yeah, they're going to say, hey, you got to go get tested. You got to be put into the health and safety protocol. So I think it's fine. And I think, honestly, that's stuff like we as normal people should be doing. When everyone is not vaccinated, got to wear your mask. And if something comes up, hey, quarantine until you determine if you're positive or negative. And that's just how it should be. Other news in the NBA, Blake Griffin. It looks like he's going to sign with the Brooklyn Nets. This move, BigThad, does this mean that the Nets are the front runners in the East now? The clear front runners in the East? Or is this just, hey, Blake Griffin's going to be on the team and the probability is the same before he was on the team?
It depends on what Blake Griffin they get. You know what I'm saying? Are they getting the healthy Blake Griffin? I mean, when he was in Detroit, you know, he had his spurts, but then he was also had some injuries. So, I mean, it really depends on where Blake Griffin you're getting. I don't think he's going to be starting. They really don't need him to start. You know what I'm saying? He could come off the bench. But I think it doesn't change with the addition. It doesn't change. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it makes them clear front runners. I mean, on paper, they should be the clear front runners by far on paper. But, you know, like I said to us with the cousins in the group chat, I said, I'm going to laugh when they don't even make it to the finals. You know what I'm saying? So It is what it is. We'll see what happens.
The playoffs is another beast. We know what they're doing in the regular season. Pretty much one of the better teams in the Eastern Conference. But when the postseason comes, scouting is different. You're playing the same team over and over. They're gonna know your strengths and weaknesses, and it's gonna be like the NBA is the one of the few leagues where the best team usually wins. You know, baseball, it's whoever's kind of hot in September and then into October, unless the best team was also hot late into the season.
Right.
The NFL, I mean, any given Sunday. That's
Right.
the adage about the NFL. And the NHL, it's almost like underdogs win a lot.
Yeah.
In the NHL. So the NBA usually is the better team is going to win. And so we'll see with the Nets. They're going to go through some troubles, but we will definitely see with the Nets. There's rumors that Andre Drummond may be bought out by the Cleveland Cavaliers. What team do you think Andre Drummond would be a best fit for?
Best fit. The Wizards.
Hey,
Best fit. You know what I'm saying? But I'm sure he's gonna want to play for a contender. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't be surprised if he went to the Nets also. I wouldn't be surprised. It'll be one of them type of deals where you have him. I think you would have him start over Jordan. Have Jordan come off the bench with Blake Griffin, and it'll be almost kind of like the Nets team that was there prior to the trades. You know what I'm saying? Prior to the Harden trade, where you had a decent bench that could start. You know what I'm saying? So I think he might go to the Nets.
Yeah, there's also other reports that Spencer Dinwiddie isn't safe when it comes to being traded. And I think eventually he would be. I think it's just too many players on the team that need the basketball to succeed that it's like, what is Spencer Dinwiddie going to do like with this team?
Was he starting still?
He was coming off the bench? But he's been injured. So he hasn't been playing with this team. And that's another
right.
Because he was injured, you know, it kind of makes the trade easier in a sense for the Brooklyn Nets. Other news in the NBA, Meyers Leonard. Meyers Leonard was caught on Twitch yesterday spouting out racial slurs. So let me not say racial slurs. Let me be correct.
Yeah, it was just one.
A racial slur that was anti-Semitic. He said it while he was playing a first-person shooter. I assume it was Call of Duty, but it could have been another game. I didn't know this. Meyers Leonard is a huge, video game player, huge computer game player. And I even went on his Twitter page when everything broke down, and all the last few tweets were about giveaways for powerful computers, partnerships with video game companies and stuff like that. He has lost several endorsements over this. He issued an apology stating that he didn't really know the magnitude of the slur that he used. Didn't know it was even a slur. I'm paraphrasing, by the way, and that he's greatly remorseful for it. It then had people thinking about what happened last year or last season in the bubble, where he was one of the few players that stood for the national anthem when the rest of the league did not, in the wake of everything that's happened when it came to police brutality against unarmed Black women and children. So, and he gave his reasons. I actually didn't have an issue with his reason. He just said, look, for me, and my family, the national anthem is pretty important to us, and I'm going to do it. But I'm with my boys, my teammates who are doing what they're doing, and they support me. And that's what it was. The rest of the team, rallied around him and just was like, that's his choice and we choose to do this. And that's the point of having choices. But then this happened. And so a lot of people were thinking about, oh, so, I mean, now the questions are, did you not kneel during a national anthem in solidarity with the players because you didn't really care about what happened? And that's where people go on social media. I don't think it's necessarily fair, but I understand why that happens. What do you have to add to this, Thad?
I mean, like we know what the word is. You know what I'm saying? We know what it means. You know, it's just one of them things, you know, especially with us, you know, being of color. We know what those words mean to each culture. You know what I'm saying? So even though we know how other cultures use the word for certain things, and it might not be against us or against those other cultures and all that. But I mean, us being us, we of course would be like, how do you not know? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you just not know? But I don't know his background. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what his educational background was, what he's been, you know, exposed to, you know what I'm saying, in his lifetime. So there could be a slight possibility that he really does not know what that word actually means, but has heard it. You know what I'm saying? It might be one of the things where he's heard it from other people and he just didn't know. But then again, he was playing Call of Duty. So I don't know, man. I don't know. He could, you know, maybe he thought it had to do with the Germans. I don't know. You know, playing Call of Duty. I don't know. But
this is the thing.
It's just one of the things, man. Like, I don't know, man. It's confusing to me.
Calling someone by the slur that he used, that's almost like it was like a masterclass on slurs. Like, you gotta know,
right?
Is like that's just not something that's in normal vernacular.
Well, see, like when you listen to it, you hear him like hesitate, like I guess he wanted to say fucking. You know what I'm saying? Like, and sorry, folks, if anybody feels offended by me saying that word, but this is not a kids podcast. But like, it's like he wanted to say fucking and then the slur, but it was like he held off because he realized he was on Twitch and kids watch Twitch, so he didn't want to say fucking, but then he said the slur like it was no big deal. So that's why I'm kind of like, maybe he really didn't know because he caught himself from saying fucking. Because when you listen to it, it's like, yeah, he's definitely gonna put fucking, you know, that space was fucking. That's exactly what that was. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, I don't believe him at all. I don't. I think he knew what he was saying and he realized, oh, like this was live. And actually, I don't even think he realized it because there's footage of later in the same session where he gets a phone call and he's like, yo, I got to take this phone call. And he picks up the phone and he's on the phone and he just gets quiet. And then obviously a little later, from what I hear, I didn't continue watching, but from what I hear is like shortly after that's when the stream ends. And yeah, I think he knew exactly what he was doing. Now,
so somebody called him up. Somebody called him up, was like, yo, you just realized what you just did.
Yeah. He was already out for the season due to a shoulder injury. But the Miami Heat have said that they've put him on leave. The NBA said they're investigating it. Thad, what do you think should happen to Meyers Leonard?
Well, I think they'll definitely, you know, suspend him or whatever. But they should probably do what they did with what the NFL did with Deshaun Jackson. You know what I'm saying? Like, or did he do that himself? He might have done that himself. But, you know, do the, the awareness training of, yada, yada, yada. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he should lose his career, like never be able to play in NFL, NBA again. You know what I'm saying? Even though that might end up being the case, not because of what the NBA will say about it in their investigation, but teams just might be like, yo, or players be like, yeah, we don't want this dude on our team. You know what I'm saying? And then next thing you know, he's never playing again.
Kobe Bryant. This was 10 years ago. Said it. He called a referee a gay slur 10 years ago, and a lot has changed.
But a lot has changed in that 10 years.
Yeah, 10 years ago, he was fined $100,000 for that. And I understand he's Kobe Bryant, but yes, that was $100,000. That was actually pretty high for a player and for
a fine, for a fine, and yeah.
I'm not sure I can't remember if he was suspended, but got that fine. NBA did put out a whole bunch of PSAs about it. Even had Kobe come out and have some, words about it. Meyers Leonard, I mean, at this point, 100,000 also, maybe 200,000 just to be like, look, come on, man. You really knew what you were saying. And like you said, there's a real chance that he may not be back in the league. He wasn't playing much last year on the team that actually went to the NBA Finals.
Right.
He was averaging, 2 to 3 minutes a game. And he had a lot of DMPs even in the bubble.
Right.
And now he has a shoulder injury. So it could be the way out. The Miami Heat have a team option for next year. So I don't think he's coming back to Miami at all.
Right.
So now it's, do other teams have value for him? And look, I mean, I'm not an NBA GM, but I feel like Meyers Leonard at this point in his career is a jag, just another guy. So there's a real chance that he may not be playing in the NBA again. Let's now get to some other NBA news real quick. The Washington Wizards. Let's talk about them real quick. They got the last game before the All-Star break. They faced the Los Angeles Clippers, defeated them. And it's the Jekyll and Hyde nature of this team. We can beat the Lakers. Yeah, they didn't have Anthony Davis, but they had a guy named LeBron James on the team. We could beat a Clippers team that had Paul George and Kawhi Leonard play. And then we lose these other games. That's the problem.
Right. And we beat the Brooklyn Nets twice.
Now, the first time it was before the trade, so it was just Harden and KD.
Right.
Second time it was just Harden and KD. No. Sorry, Kyrie and KD. The first game. The second game it was Kyrie and KD because Harden was injured or it was rest. Whatever the case, he didn't play that game. But either way, you're right. They beat the Brooklyn Nets twice. Had a very good game against the 76ers at the beginning of the year. So they can play well against good teams. It's just consistency. It's the consistency. The Los Angeles Lakers, they have been on the losing streak. Now, obviously, the last game before the All-Star break, they didn't have LeBron James. They didn't have Anthony Davis. I believe they didn't have Kyle Kuzma also. Look.
But they only lost by 2.
Yeah. It was only 2.
But then who were they playing? Was it Sacramento?
Yeah, the Kings.
Yes. I mean, they almost, I guess those other players are pretty decent then, I guess.
The Kings are trash, man.
The Kings are, but they're professionals, sir.
No.
They're professionals.
It's trash. I was only a Kings fan because of Chris Webber, man. As soon as Chris Webber left that team.
Chris Webber, Peja, Stojakovic,
Mike Bibby, Vlade Divas, Bobby Jackson, Scott Pollard, Doug Christie,
White Chocolate. At one point in time?
At one point, yeah, but they got really, really nice once they got Mike Bibby. Once they made that trade, one for Tim Donaghy and in the cheating scandal, they would have beat the Lakers because that game 6 still haunts me as a fan of Chris Webber, because that was the game they should have been in. They should have won to go to the NBA Finals.
Oh, speaking of Chris Webber, did you hear?
Maybe that's a great segue, and maybe something's come up that I don't know, but there's the finalists for the Pro Basketball Hall of Fame.
My man.
There is.
Webber.
Webber is obviously one of the finalists. And not just him. There's quite a few players. Marcus Johnson.
Paul
Pierce.
Chris Bosh.
Yes. Let's start with Chris Bosh. Is he a Hall of Famer? I think he is. I mean, he's done enough. Even when he was in Toronto, he was pretty good.
Yeah.
Made, like, okay, there was Vince Carter, yes, in Toronto. But after that, I mean, Chris Bosh kind of kept them relevant.
Right.
And obviously he left, and then obviously it was the next wave of DeRozan and Kyle Lowry, and then obviously the team that ended up winning. But yeah, he played well in Toronto, and then he was part of the Heatles, the big three in Miami.
Right.
He was one of the big three, and he not only played well, he had great moments in those 4 years. So, and even on the championship runs, I mean, everyone talks about the Ray Allen 3, but Chris Bosh had to go up there and get the ball to Ray Allen.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And then had a crucial block against, I believe it was Danny Green, to basically seal the game.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's on top of him averaging nearly 20 points and 10 rebounds, like on a team where he was the third option.
Right.
Like, come on. I think he's a surefire Hall of Fame. Marcus Johnson of the Bucks should have been in the Hall of Fame years ago. I don't know why it's taking this long. Paul Pierce. What do you have to say about Paul Pierce?
Yeah, he definitely gets some. Definitely. You know what I'm saying? He's definitely deserving. You know what I'm saying? Especially those Celtics teams that he was with. You know what I'm saying? He even did his little thing with the Wizards. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, he definitely should get it.
Now, Chris, go ahead.
Go ahead, because I was gonna talk about another person.
Who are you gonna talk about?
Lauren Jackson.
Oh yeah, she should be in the Hall of Fame also.
Yeah,
multiple time MVP of the WNBA. I believe won at least one WNBA Finals, at least one, maybe more.
Yeah, with Seattle. Yep,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely did.
Chris Webber, he should have been in the Hall of Fame already, especially when you take into account what he did in college, being part of the Fab Five and being the best player on the Fab Five. Should have already been there. I mean, if guys like Christian Laettner are in there because of their college performances,
right.
And I understand Christian Laettner won, I believe, two titles, in college.
But then he was on the Dream Team.
Yeah,
everybody forgot about that.
Yeah, he was just on the team. You know, I know the tradition that you get one college player,
one college guy. Yeah,
he was the guy. Should have been Shaq. Shaq still talks about that, like it should have been him. But anyways, if Christian Laettner could be in the Pro Basketball Hall of Fame because of his college accomplishments, then Chris Webber should, when you especially account for the impact on the college game,
right?
The impact on basketball culture.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the black sneakers, black socks. I mean, people weren't doing that.
The long shorts,
even just the black sneakers. Like, it was really only Michael Jordan, and Michael Jordan wore black with white socks in the postseason.
Right.
During the regular season, you know, but the whole just changed the whole culture. And then he had a very good NBA career. Like, people try to act like he's some bum in the NBA because he didn't win a title.
No, he had a great career in NBA.
He was in an era where he still had to deal with Charles Barkley. when he came in the league, played well against him. Karl Malone,
Dikembe.
Other center. He had to play against centers like Dikembe and Shaq and the other power forwards like Tim Duncan and Kevin Garnett. And yes, Tim Duncan, Kevin Garnett, Karl Malone, Charles Barkley, they're all better than him, but he still held his own. And
He was smooth with it. Yeah.
And then those runs with the Kings, like, come on.
Yeah.
He should have been in there a while ago. I know there's some controversy because of what happened at Michigan and the accepting of money and all of that, but look, it's about time. Get him in.
Michigan's letting him back. It's okay. Michigan's cool with it now. You know what I'm saying? Juwan Howard's killing it as a coach. Yeah, they're cool with it.
So yeah, man, he should long overdue. That'll wrap it up here for our NBA segment. Let's now get to our NFL segment. Talk about the big news in the NFL that made me very happy as a Dallas Cowboys fan. The Dallas Cowboys came to a long-term agreement with Dak Prescott.
They are the Dallas Cowboys, America's team.
Do you know how excited I was when I heard the news? And it was real unexpected. I really was thinking he was going to be tagged again. So that's what I was just like, it's going to happen.
Oh, yeah. I knew how happy you were when you sent the family a video.
I did.
He sent the family a video text message with the announcement of Dak being signed.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
That's how happy you were. That was how happy you were.
Because you know what? It was because you were gonna have to leave the team. You know what I'm saying? You were gonna leave as a fan.
I was very serious. If they did not sign him and to a long-term deal, and he eventually went to another team, I was no longer going to be a Dallas Cowboys fan, and I knew that was going to be extremely tough for me. I probably would have ended up being a Raiders fan because I just like the Raiders silver and black, and outside of the Cowboys.
That's why you like the Cowboys.
Yeah,
the silver star.
Yeah. And but I didn't want to do that. I really didn't want to do that. The crazy thing is I just happened to see a tweet where my boy Bernard Samuel was just like, oh, well, the Dak to DC was fun while it lasted. And I kind of was like, And then
when was that even a thought?
That was a thing, like the 24 hours before the signing. Like there was a social media movement that was like Dak to DC, and people were not just people, NFL insiders were kind of like, like they were even beating the drums to that and saying, hey, it's a possibility, that Dallas might let him walk, and then Washington will be the team that can definitely step in because not they have Daniel Snyder as the owner. He's going to do whatever to get a player like Dak Prescott. But then also it was, just because they'll have cap, like they need a quarterback and they can get cap space for him. That was like a thing 24 hours before the signing. So when my boy said, oh man, that was fun while it lasted. And then I went through Washington football Twitter and it was a thing. Like they were actually talking about this. So I was just like, maybe this is a thing. Now, I'm glad it happened. Let's get to the specifics of the contract. Dak Prescott, 4 years, $160 million. $127 million of it is guaranteed. After the first year, he would have gotten $75 million.
Yeah.
After the first year.
Yeah.
And it has me thinking, Dak got his $40 million a year.
Right.
And this is where the Cowboys really messed up. They should just sign him to a long-term deal earlier. It wouldn't have cost him this much.
All he wanted was the 4 year.
That's all he wanted. I just want 4 years.
We want to fight. No, we want you for 5. All I want is 4. And then you end up giving him the 4
at a price that was higher.
Yeah. What was the other one? Was it 4 years, 133 or something like that
It was
originally?
it was something around that.
Yeah.
That was the report.
That's a big difference. It don't seem like it's still a big difference, especially when you're paying out 75 that first year.
That's crazy.
What does this mean for the Dallas Cowboys, though, Thad?
I mean, well, at least this upcoming season, they ain't gonna have nothing to get nobody for. But then again, you got to think about in the future, will they have the money to extend certain players like Amari Cooper or Ezekiel?
You know what I'm saying? It could end up being a current Green Bay situation. You know what I'm saying? Where there's a possibility that, Zeke, they might say, hey, we're not going to franchise you and just let you go. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we'll still try to get a contract going, but we're not going to franchise you. It is what it is.
Here's a good thing with Dallas for now. Cooper is locked up. Zeke is locked up.
Right.
The offensive line, contract-wise, are locked up pretty good. Jalen Smith, who I don't think is that good, but he's there. Lane Vander Esch, those guys are locked up. It's going to be the others that they're going to need help with.
Right.
But at least the stars are there.
Right.
For the next 3 to 4 years.
Right.
So the window is now 3 to 4 years to win a Super Bowl. It gets real dicey after that. The NFL salary cap took a dip due to last year's pandemic. Do you think the NFL should have just said, let's just keep the salary cap as it was last year? Like the NBA? The NBA say, yes, we know technically we don't have the money for that, but let's just keep it how it was.
I would think so, because this upcoming season is going to be a lot better than it was last year. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, a lot of places are starting to open up, allow more fans in the venues and stuff like that. So hopefully, August comes around and they'll be able to have packed stadiums. Hopefully. But yeah, they should have kept it the same instead of dropping it. You know what I'm saying? That because usually in a regular season, in normal times, the cap would have raised up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So for you to, unless they just lost so much money that they're like, we have to drop the salary cap, but that really makes no sense to me.
Yeah, I'm just kind of like, y'all are just sticking to the rules like real hard and just like, yeah, well, the revenue is this is the salary cap now. Let's get to some other news in the NFL. Kenny Golladay was not assigned the franchise tag, so he'll be a free agent. Allen Robinson was assessed the franchise tag. Who are some other notable franchise tag players, BigThad?
Well, I know that one that didn't get franchised was Aaron Jones.
Yes, you mentioned him.
Running back for the Packers, which, they're still going to try their best to get a contract for him and hopefully come to agreement. But it looks like right now, he's going to be one of the top free agents this all season. Like, I would, as much as I love our current running back with the with the football team, sorry, I wouldn't mind going after him. You know,
Washington slurs,
because he only, I think he was only getting like 9 or 10 million, if that, as a year. So hey, why not? A good running back like him with the former rookie now, that'd be pretty dope.
Chris Godwin was given assigned the franchise tag for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I believe it's Hunter Henry. Was Hunter Henry given the tag, or was it just let me just look it up here.
Yeah, just look it up. I can't remember if he was or not.
Well, Leonard Williams of the Giants was tagged.
Yeah.
He was tagged.
Oh, Brandon Scherf.
Brandon Scherf of your Washington football team was tagged. What are your thoughts on Brandon Scherf? Because Bro Football Focus is going to say he's real good. The nerds say he's good. People who don't watch Washington football play consistently say he's good. But then, like, Washington football fans are kind of like, he ain't that good.
Well, I mean, compared to the rest of the line that we have, he's the greatest lineman ever. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, when you compare him to, well, no, I mean, he's been consistently in the Pro Bowl. You know what I'm saying? I mean, obviously everybody thinks he's really good, but I mean, compared, like when you see him on the field with this team, he's doing his job and everybody else just looks terrible. But I would say if you really compared him to the rest of the right tackles in the league or right guards, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think the best. You know what I'm saying? So, but for this team, he's literally the best offensive lineman we have, and we have to franchise him. We have to. But then again, you know how we are. We don't like to tend to pay the right people extra money, crazy money. So, yeah, that's just one of the things, man.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't know. I just I don't know how good he really is. He's a guard, and guards are like, you kind of don't really, unless you're like really an NFL aficionado where you watch hours of tape. You don't really watch what the guard is doing. You can tell when the tackles are playing bad because that edge rush is or you can tell when tackles are playing well when the edge rusher can't get to the quarterback or the defensive end. But like the guards, that's something like you really gotta be paying attention to. So, and I'm not gonna act like I have time all day to do that. I do know Quentin Nelson out of the Colts. He's really good, but other than that, I can't really like remember,
Right.
who else are good when it comes to being a guard in the NFL. You mentioned Aaron Jones. Yeah, I think the hot guy on the market coming up. Him and Kenny Golladay.
Right.
That's where I think is gonna go. The NFL free agency with us, and then ends up, all the other chips are gonna fall where they be when it comes to NFL free agency. Let's now get into our quick hitters. Did you hear about former head coach of the Kansas Wildcats football team, Les Miles? Did you hear about him?
Didn't he get fired, released, something like that? Or I'm thinking of somebody else.
Yep, they parted ways. Parted ways because a report came out from USA Today where, and this is wild. I guess, the whole thing with Darius Geis. You remember Darius Geis? He had his issues in the NFL, had the domestic violence in the NFL. USA Today did an investigative reporting and realized that, okay, Darius Geis had issues at LSU. I think two allegations of sexual assault. So then there was more digging about what was going on. Then things turned to Les Miles, who was the former head coach at LSU, and the stuff that was happening there. While he was there, he was accused of flirting with the women in the program, flirting with women students, making sexual advances, even kissing one of the women, inviting them to his condo that he had as the head coach. They did an internal investigation somehow, because the report says half of the board knew about the investigation and the other half didn't. Mind you, this is Baton Rouge, where LSU is pretty much what keeps the city going. And
Right.
and like people didn't even know about this. Like this stuff happened, they said 8 years ago.
They chose not to know about it. That's
You
what
had
that
the
is.
then athletic director that decided, I want to fire him, but I can't. So he mentioned that kind of in a report somewhere, but ultimately didn't happen. Well, now Kansas saw what happened with this report and said, yeah, he has to go. Do you think Kansas should have fired him for this?
Yeah, why not? I mean, he was coaching at Kansas. I mean, Kansas football isn't really noticeable. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I mean, Kansas basketball, yeah, good to go. Kansas football, yeah, it is what it is.
Now they were struggling. I believe they were winless in the division. I believe, or in the conference. I believe so. That didn't help him. It doesn't look like Kansas would have even known that this stuff had happened. So I don't even fault Kansas for hiring him in the first place. But hey, kudos to them for making sure that they got rid of him when the time came. Let's now get into our Champ and Chump of the week. Every week we celebrate those that do well and we criticize those that do not. Thad, who's your champ of the week?
The Connecticut women's basketball team. You know what I'm saying? Undefeated in the conference again. Another conference tournament championship again. And they only had one loss this season. And it was a fluke loss to Arkansas. But Arkansas is a pretty good team. So, yeah, UConn women's basketball. Gino Auriemma, Paige Bucklers. Yo, that team is going to be as good as they are right now. Next season is going to be even crazier with Azzy Fudd coming from St. John's. It's going to be ridiculous. Her and Paige are like best friends, yo.
Yeah.
They're going to be ridiculous.
That was the one thing that with this pandemic that I because I didn't get a chance to see her play live. I've only seen clips of Fudd play on social media, but not live. And that's one thing I'm like, man, I wish I could have definitely seen her play this year. My champ of the week has to go to Dak Prescott. When you get that sort of deal out of an NFL team, you are the champ of the week.
Baby, want a champ.
So yeah, Dak Prescott is my champ of the week. BigThad,
yo,
who's your chump of the week?
The Wake Forest men's basketball team.
Wow. Now, because you're a chump. Let people know why they're the chump of the week.
So last night, I believe it was last night, they were playing Notre Dame in the ACC tournament. You know what I'm saying? They were up at one point by like 15, 20 points. You know what I'm saying? And then the last quarter, Notre Dame came back, tied the game up and everything. With a couple seconds left to the game, Notre Dame came down, busted a three. Game over. Wait for they played no defense, bro. Like, how are you at a tie game? Have that much short time, and you let them get down to the other 3-point line. Now, granted, when the 3-point shot was taken, he was still back off of the line, so it was definitely still a deep three. But you let that guard get down to the 3-point line and just pass it back to his teammate, and his teammate shot the three, man, made it, swish, game over.
Yep. Wake Forest men's basketball. They are Thad's Chump of the Week. My Chump of the Week goes to Little Baby, the rapper.
Let's go. Let them hear it.
NBA All-Star Weekend was in Atlanta. I believe it was Bleacher Report. Yeah, Bleacher Report did a wonderful job, by the way, when it comes to the production. They got 4 rappers to compete in the 2-on-2 basketball game. It was 2 Chainz and Little Baby versus Quavo and Jack Harlow. A lot of people know that 2 Chainz is considered good at basketball. He is
Played in college, didn't he?
I guess.
Well, they keep saying he played in college. I don't know what college it was. Yeah.
So,
Alabama State. That's where he played at Alabama State.
He played basketball, 6'6". Yes, he's older, so maybe that's why he kind of struggled. It's the pandemic. He probably hasn't been working out that much. Whatever. Quavo, the world told me Quavo was this like savant on a basketball court just a few months ago.
They said he could play in the NBA, y'all.
Yeah. People were legit. It wasn't trolling. People were legit like he could probably play in college right now, and if given the chance, could make it to the NBA because he was playing against some NBA player or not even playing against an NBA player. He was playing in a game with an NBA player. People were trying to convince me that he's really good at basketball. He didn't look that great. Jack Harlow, he could play defense. I give him that.
Yeah.
He's a little taller than I thought he was. I thought he would have been short.
Right.
Actually kind of taller. He's a little stocky. Doesn't look
yeah.
But when you see him playing defense, it's like, okay, you just can't put him around. But it's Lil Baby who did absolutely nothing on the basketball court.
He looks so terrible.
Absolutely nothing on the basketball court. He contributed nothing to that team. Now, mind you, this game was 1st to 21. And I believe they were going 2s and 3s. So not even 1s and 2s, 2s and 3s. And it took him like a whole hour to get to 21 points.
No. Was it 2s and 3s?
It had
Nah, because the 3-point was 2 points.
Oh, it was?
Yeah. 3-point.
1s and 2s.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah, it took
took an hour to score 21 points. At the end of the first half, which was,
and they had a halftime.
They had a halftime where halftime started when the first team got to 11. Ended up being Quavo and Jack Harlow. They got to 12 actually because of, like you said, the 3-point shot or 2-point shot, and it was 12-6. 2 Chainz had all 6 points.
Facts.
The final score was 21-9, and 2 Chainz had 9 points. And Lil Baby was trying to stretch, and Jack Harlow had to show him how to stretch, and he just couldn't. And then just running up and down the court, I'm like, this dude doesn't play basketball. Like, why they get this dude to come out here? And the thing about it is, people were saying he was going to be good in the game.
Yeah, and then they were said he had the Jordan. Was it the Jordan 1s on?
Yes,
and that he had the ball. He had to be a baller. And yeah, it didn't look good at all. Terrible.
One thing is when you see people playing in Jordans, there's no in between. They're either like really great or they're like really garbage.
Perfect.
Like there's no in between.
I mean, who wants the ball in Jordan 1s anyways? You know what I'm saying? Compared to all the other Jordans, you play in Jordan 1s. I don't get it.
So yeah, man, Little Baby is my chump of the week.
Because you're a chump.
Let's now get into sports free zone. We take a break from sports. The COVID relief bill. The House should have voted it already to put it into law. People are saying this is probably the best financial bill in the last 80 years. Have you been hearing that?
I mean, I've been hearing something like that, but I'm just like, I'll wait till it happens. Like everything else. I'll wait till it happens.
So there will be stimulus checks. It is going to be $1,400, I believe, per adult. I believe.
I still didn't get the second one, so I'll wait till it actually happens.
You didn't get the second one?
Nope. Because I changed. You know what? This is the thing. I think it's because I actually filed with my current address.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But they made me mail it in for whatever reason. So did that, whatever. But I never got it. But then I found some people where, they did the e-file of last year's return. I can't remember if they got the stimulus or not, but they hadn't even up to today. They still haven't received their refund from last year. But they filed this year and they got their refund back already.
Yeah.
Like what? What's going on? Like y'all ain't even processed last year's returns. You know what I'm saying? Y'all even, yeah.
I
don't know.
You need to talk to your mom. That's what you need to do.
No, I'm good. I mean, I'm just saying that they just didn't process it. That's all.
I'm saying you gotta talk to her because she worked there.
Oh yeah.
You forgot she worked there.
Yo, knowing her, she'll be like, "Yo, they don't know what they doing." You know what I'm saying? They don't know what they doing. You obviously did what you were supposed to do. They just didn't do it yet.
Unemployment benefits were increased. Also, protections for rent assistance, rental protections. There was also child care benefits. Also, I forgot the exact term for it.
You mean everything that all the other countries do, except us? Yeah. More. And this is just on a bill that's gonna end in like a year or two, maybe. You know what I'm saying? But they've been doing this all this time. But no, we can't do it. No, you can't do it here.
Small businesses got more assistance. Now, what isn't in the bill is the federal minimum wage going up to $15 per hour, and also the canceling of student debt. Let me say this to all of you all who think that the bill is worthless if those two things were not part of it. Because of how the bill was going to have to be written and how it was going to be voted on, if the federal minimum wage and the cancellation of student debt were in that bill, it was going to require a 60 votes to pass it in the Senate. But because they put it as like a budget type bill, just needed a simple majority. And for those out there that don't know this yet, for adults that do not know this yet in America, in the Senate, it is a 50-50 split, with Democrats having the tiebreaker simply because of Kamala Harris, the vice president. So think about this. Everyone's voting on party lines. Republicans for sure are not voting for this. 50 right there. Got the 50 Democrats. It almost went to the toilet when Joe Manchin of West Virginia was like, I don't know, about this bill. It almost went to the toilet. Mm-hmm. And at the 11th hour, they had to really fix this stuff and make it better. So for those that are sitting there like, oh, it's worthless, look, they couldn't get it in this time. Right. Now, I'm not saying they should never get it in. Eventually, there probably needs a bill specifically for the federal minimum wage and a bill specifically for canceling student loan debt. But to try and fit it in with the COVID relief, it wasn't going to work. It was not going to work. So stop acting like, Biden and his administration is doing nothing especially when we had 4 years of nothing like this. You didn't hear any conversation about raising the federal minimum wage from the Trump administration. So the fact that they're even trying to entertain this is already a step. So I don't want to hear any of that. Now, mind you, Biden does still have 4 years. So let's wait and see. I know some people say he said he was going to do this in 100 days. I'm just like, look, for you all to think this was getting done in the first 100 days, you all are the same people that voted for your school president because they said, I'm going to build a pool on the roof of the school. And you all voted for them. And then a shock like, 4 years went through high school and I still don't see a pool on the roof. Well, yeah, you all are the same people.
Or the
people that believe that all this was getting done in the first 100 days. Mind you, it's only been a month and a half since he's been in office.
Or they the same ones that bought the ticket for the school elevator.
Perfect.
I remember you telling me that. I've heard it from you.
And there's no elevator until like a couple years later where we had, the funny thing is they built the elevator because of a handicapped student. And it was literally the only reason why that elevator was built. That was it.
Yeah, man. So for you all that's just like, oh, well, he said it was going to happen in the first 100 days. Now, I feel like I didn't, my vote was wasted and, we can see. Look, I'm not saying the dude is perfect as president, but come on. We had 4 years of a terrible administration. Give this dude some time to clean up some of the messes. Like, come on. Like,
they literally all they heard was cancel of debt. And they were like, yo, that's it. Yes. But they never asked like how much it would be or how long you have to do something until that debt's canceled. Like there's programs, this canceled debt, there's programs already out here and even in the federal government where they cancel your debt. People just don't realize it. You know what I'm saying? Like you could literally work for the federal government for 10 years.
10 years.
10 years straight, and they literally cancel your student loans. Like completely cancel. Not a certain amount, they just cancel it. You know what I'm saying? State of Maryland has some programs like that also. When it comes to public service and all that.
You work for non-profits.
Yep. You know what I'm saying? It is there. It's just they just don't realize it. So yeah, it's gonna take a little time. It's just gonna take a little time.
And you know what? Honestly, realistically, I don't think the federal minimum wage is gonna raise to $15. Not until at the earliest 2022, with the hopes that you could win some of these seats that are up.
Right.
These Senate seats. And that's what people think that the presidential election just solved everything.
No, not.
And I'm like, did you not see that it came down to 2 runoff votes in Georgia just to get a 50-50 split in the Senate?
Right. Still got a lot of work to do, people.
If you want to win these votes that need super majorities, you got to get more seats.
Yep.
So that's what it is. Let's now get to the Oprah Winfrey interview with Prince Harry and Princess Meghan Markle. Did you watch any of it, BigThad?
No, I ain't watching any of it. But I've seen some clips, some news clips about it and stuff like that. And then the memes started popping up.
Meghan Markle and Prince Harry spoke about their time while being part of the royal family. They spoke about what caused them to decide to leave the UK and pretty much distance themselves from the royal family. Princess Meghan Markle spoke about how, the royal family was focused on the complexion of their unborn child at the time, how dark the child was going to be, how that was a topic of conversation, how they didn't treat her well, and pretty much it was based around race. And Prince Harry spoke about how the marriage to Meghan Markle caused a rift between his brother and his father, and even the grandmother. Went on and on and on about that. Now, Big Thad,
What up?
any of those revelations, were any of them shocking to you?
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, considering what happened with Diana, you know what I'm saying? Like how they treated her, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you're not in that line of lineage or however you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? Like Diana, no way Diana should have been princess. Meghan Markle, no way she should have been princess. You know what I'm saying? If they had their way, she would have never been involved at all. You know what I'm saying? But nah, it's not surprising at all. You know what I mean? I'm not surprised with a lot of things we see here in the United States where we're like, oh no, are you serious? There's no way. Yeah, that all came from there, y'all.
There's a segment of the population that thought that the marriage between Prince Harry and Princess Meghan Markle was going to end up unifying the races. Did you hear any of that on social media?
I heard something like that, but I was like, nah, this. I don't know who these people are.
Yeah, they just don't know how the world works,
no,
man.
No, not at all.
They do not know how the world works. Like, I'm not shocked. Now, obviously, even though I'm not shocked, it made for a great interview.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt.
Just because nothing was shocking doesn't mean that the interview was not good. The interview was done really well by Oprah Winfrey. There was revelations about how they were. Do you know who housed them when they came to the U.S.?
No, I can't remember who did.
Tyler Perry.
Oh,
Who would have thought Tyler Perry would have been on in this? Man?
Right.
Oh man, but yeah, Tyler Perry assisted them with a house and I believe some security, things like that. Meghan Markle even spoke about her postpartum depression, even spoke about, I guess you could say, prepartum.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
She said the royal family was mistreating her so bad that she got into a depressive state that she even contemplated suicide while she was pregnant.
Asked for help and they were like, nah, that doesn't look good for the institution.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Here you go, folks. They are an institution, not a family, an institution. That does it right there.
So that came out. Now 17 million people watched that on Sunday. They said that was competing with NFL postseason games with those ratings.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, like that's the amount of people. Mind you, it was going up against the NBA All-Star game at the same time. Did very, very, very good when it came to ratings. If you have not checked the interview, make sure you go and check it out. Andrew Cuomo, the governor of New York, several allegations of sexual misconduct. There's even a photo of him where he's at a wedding where one of the plaintiffs, one of the victims said that, I was at a wedding and we were talking and he grabbed me pretty close to him and embraced me. Mind you, she did not even know that there was a photo of this. It was after her allegation. That's when the New York Times found the photo. It was like this. And then the victim was like, yeah, That's exactly the time when it happened. He even
It looked so bad, dude.
Yeah,
It looked so bad. Like,
it looks so bad.
and the thing is, I think they said that he had first asked to kiss her or whatever.
Yes.
She never answered the question. And then you see the picture with his hands on both sides of her face, like trying to pull her face in. And you just see the look on her face like, yeah, get off me. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know if you heard, did you hear about the incident with the journalist and the hot dog?
The journalist and the hot dog.
Yes.
No.
He was at a fair, like, you know, like the county fair, you know what I'm saying? And sitting at a table, and the journalist had a hot dog, and for lack of better words, he's like, "Are you gonna just take it all whole?"
Oh, jeez.
The glizzy. I'm like, yeah, man. And the thing is, like, they, from what it was said, that the journalists had laughed about it, but like, even then, it's kind of like, yo, this man, you just wild, dude.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I think we have. Let me see if I can show a photo of how this. Let me. I'm playing around with the stream. Boom, boom. Let me see. This is what happens when you're trying to do things on the fly. But
I mean, if you need to crop me out, that's fine.
no. Here it is. I couldn't remember what it was. I had to go share screen. Boom. Let me show y'all what this looks like here. Boom. I don't know. I don't know if y'all can see that.
Yeah, I can see that good.
Okay. See right here. Boom.
Yeah,
That's the embrace that we're talking about.
Yeah, the one on the far right, y'all.
All right.
Yeah.
I probably should have tried I should have been more prepared to show you all this, but
come on, man, do the Mac 2-finger slide across the zoom in. Yo, the look on her face is like she about to cry. It's like she's just about to cry, like something just happened. She's about to cry, and you just see his face like, I'm coming in. Like, it's crazy.
Boom. Here we go.
Look at that face, man. And like his fingers are behind her neck. You know what I'm saying?
He did this knowing that there's hundreds of people around him and that cameras are around.
Yeah, it was somebody's wedding.
Yes.
Like,
but
why?
Because he's the governor, like, they were taking photos of him because he was there. There was press there. He did this with press there. He didn't do this in the hallway or in the bathroom.
Right.
Like, this was in the event.
And you know what? In his mind, it was nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, in the moment, he wasn't thinking that this was like sexual harassment or anything like that.
Do you think he should resign as governor of the state of New York?
Man, I don't know, man. I don't know. Not because of that picture, but if these allegations are like legit, yeah, you just got to resign, bro.
Yeah, I think he should. Especially, it's just causing too much problems for the state of New York. Yeah, man.
Well, you know, look. See, this is the thing, though. You know what? This is what they need to do. Like New York City and all that should just have their own governor, yo, and just let him be Albany and all that other place up top. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times, like when people think of New York, they literally think of New York City. That's New York. You know what I'm saying? And that's it. That's it.
Oh man, I think he should resign, especially with the amount of allegations that are coming out.
Yeah,
definitely.
Just do it.
Yeah. Black Lives Matter, the organization, report came out that they received nearly $90 million worth of donations last year. Michael Brown Sr., the father of Michael Brown Jr., who was killed by a Ferguson police officer in 2014, is requesting that the Black Lives Matter organization donate $20 million to his causes in Ferguson, Missouri, for the community center that they built in honor of Mike Brown and some of the other programs that are in Ferguson, Missouri. And he states, him and his attorney state, that Black Lives Matter really blew up after Mike Brown's death. And that, yes, it was a social movement, but it's a social movement that turned into an organization that profited off of the incident. And Michael Brown Sr. is just saying, hey, look, y'all got 90 million in donations last year. Can we get some of it here on the ground? Other local chapters of the Black Lives Matter organization have also been asking for more transparency with the amount of funds that they've gotten and what the plan is. So this isn't something that just came out of the blue that Michael Brown Sr. came up with. Local chapters around the country have also been wondering. The organization put out a statement, said, yes, we did receive $90 million in donations last year, but in previous years, there were years we didn't really receive much of anything that can get past our overhead. And but they said they do have plans to disperse funds to specific needs. They have already given out micro grants, which are like they have $1,000. I believe they were $1,000 like grants to just people, like people in need. They've given out, I believe, 300 of them, I believe, or 30 of them. It's either 30 or 3, but they've done that already, and that they plan on doing stuff. What do you think? This is the thing with the organization, Black Lives Matter. They already came out under some heat last year because of the manifesto that they had. I believe the wording of the manifesto wasn't the greatest, but I understand the statement that they were trying to make. One that specifically stuck out was that the organization was trying to break the nuclear family. And that doesn't sound good, but when you actually read what they were trying, or what that means for them, basically they were saying that we're trying to open the eyes to people that a family isn't just a nuclear family. A family could be any group of people that live together consistently. And especially in today's culture, you're going to have homosexual families. You're going to have families that are part of other parts of the LGBTQ community. And that was the point, that a family isn't just a father, mother, and children. Family is people who live together routinely. But the statement breaking up the nuclear family definitely rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. And I think they've had moments of this where things are not as clear as they should. And then now you're combining the funds, how much money they got in local chapters. I'm wondering, well, what's happening with it?
Right.
I think that's the problem. And I think what sucks about this is this country is still racist. And the racists in this country are going to say, you see, I shouldn't be focused on Black Lives Matter because the organization is not on the up and up, allegedly. When really there's a difference between the actual organization and just the general movement that, yo, Black Lives Matter. So I think that's one of the big issues that's happening now. I think that's the big problem right now that's happening. There's a big disconnect, and because the country's still a racist country, we're still having these issues. What do you have to add on that specific topic?
Yeah, I mean, I think his father's right. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you blew up as an organization
because of my son's death. We're doing things here, charity wise, and everything else. Like, help us out. You know what I'm saying? And then you got to think about it. Before George Floyd, people completely forgot about the organization. Like, completely forgot about the organization. Then, when everybody was rising up saying Black Lives Matter, they weren't talking about the organization when everybody was rising up in that movement. They weren't talking about the organization, but everybody else outside of the movement, or those who didn't know what was going on, or those who just didn't care, their whole thought process was this was Black Lives Matter again. The organization, not an actual movement. So, like I said, when everything first popped off, I said they kind of I think they need to get that hashtag of the movement changed somehow. You know what I'm saying? Like, so nobody thinks that they're one and the same, even though they're for the same cause. But a movement and the organization are two different things. But it all ended up meshing together. You know what I'm saying? So people that were like, oh my God, look what Black Lives Matter was doing, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? Look, they're back at it again. Not realizing that they still had that disconnect. You know what I'm saying? They didn't know what was going on. You know what I'm saying? And I've had this argument with other folks that I know, you know, Black and other races, about this whole thing. And it was just like, they were like, oh, we didn't think of it that way. You know what I'm saying? Like, they thought the organization was this, and this organization was the ones behind this movement. And it was like, no, the movement is behind the people. You know what I'm saying? Not an organization. But I was doing a little research on them, and I didn't realize they're a global network. You know what I'm saying? Not a movement, you know, not that Black Lives Matter movement. The organization is a global network. I didn't realize they were that big.
Yep. Let's end this segment on a ratchet note. A woman went down to Atlanta for All-Star Weekend with $400 in her bank account. Went on a one-way ticket, expecting that her unemployment would have kicked in.
Oh no!
And realized that did not kick in. And now she needs to find a way back to New York. Now, to me, the story is sketchy because unemployment don't kick in on the weekend.
Nah, not at all.
It shouldn't. I don't care what state it is. Based on how unemployment works, you can't file until Sunday for the previous week.
Right.
So it's not going to come until Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, depending on the state that you're in.
Yeah, 2 business days.
Well, it was Sunday night. She puts up a GoFundMe talking about, I need money to get back to New York, and I need $1,200 to get back to New York.
Ooh.
And I'm just like, something's fishy. But either way, she went to All-Star Weekend with $400 in her bank account. Like, how irresponsible is that? Like, come on a one-way ticket. Mind you, it probably costs you more to do a one-way ticket twice than just a round trip.
Right. You should have got Southwest. You should have booked early.
Should have done the round trip. You might have had $200 in your pocket. You might have ran out of money, but you knew you had a flight back home.
Right.
Instead of just having 400 and now blowing it, and then now
can't get back home.
Find your way back home. Like, come on, man.
Did she think somebody was going to pay for her one-way flight back or something?
And see, that's where the rumors come up. People are saying maybe she went to Atlanta to, you know, profit off of her being. And, you know, also they thought maybe she went down. Rumors started going around how she went down there looking for a man, and it just got real nasty on Twitter, man.
Hilarious.
It was just like, yo, how did you go to All-Star Weekend with $400?
Right.
Like that's it. like $400 in your bank account. And look, someone's going to say, yo, you must be some elitist to think that, because some people don't have that kind of money at a given time. Look, I understand. But that's also a reason why you shouldn't go to Atlanta during All-Star Weekend.
Right.
Because All-Star Weekend, you know everything's a premium. You didn't just go to Atlanta on a regular weekend. It is All-Star Weekend. You know the party's going to cost more. You know you're going to want to go to the clubs. You know you're going to want to go to other events. Yes, $400 is not enough. Like a dinner alone might be $100.
Right. Like you.
So when you go to these towns for these large events, look, you got to have money to go. If you don't have money, don't go. You know how many times? The reason why I haven't been to Texas to watch a Cowboys game in Texas, I've seen them play in numerous cities close by, but the reason I have not gone to see them in Arlington, Texas, or Irvin back in the day is because I did not have extra money to cover everything while I went down there. Like, and then when I did, things happened. If you don't have it, you can't go.
Like now I'm kind of wondering, like, yo, where did she stay? You know what I'm saying? Did she stay with friends? Did she get a hotel room? Like I have so many questions, man. I have so many questions, but all I can do is laugh. That's it.
And then, actually, we can save this one for next week. Let's just move on to our women in sports history. Let's do a quick segment before we get out of here, especially since we don't have a guest this week. Let's talk about the notable accomplishments, milestones for women in sports. Let's start with the Title IX Act. President Nixon makes Title IX a reality. Title IX is the law that pretty much in layman's term dictates that in order to receive federal aid, that schools have to have equal sports for both men and women, or comparable sports, or they have to have equal amount of sports on each for each gender. So we do know, obviously, football is a men's sport. Well, on the women's side, you got to have a sport that is extra. So at these NCAA schools and even high schools, you know, for you to get federal funding, let's say your school has 8 male sports, it has to have 8 women's sports, or has to show that there really is not enough students or enough interest for us to have the 8 sports. And even then, I think it's something, when I saw it in a report, it's like, okay, you can have 7, but you have to like really prove that the young girls or the young women are not participating. So, but in 1972 it became a reality, which then allowed for women's sports to really blow up, especially on the collegiate level. Is when you started really seeing the names of women basketball players like Nancy Lieberman, who at one point people said, yo, she might be able to play in the NBA. You had Cheryl Miller, Lisa Leslie, and the names go on of these great women, especially when it comes to basketball. Wilma Rudolph, she won 3 gold medals in 1960 as a track and field star. That was definitely huge for women's sports. Remember the 99 World Cup game, or the World Cup team, U.S. World Cup?
Yes.
With Brandy Chastain, when she had the penalty kick. But that women's team was really good. Mia Hamm, Brandy Chastain.
Oh yeah, that was.
Who were some other players on that team? That.
Oh man, you making me.
I do remember Mia Hamm and Brandy Chastain. Those are the ones.
Oh yeah, those are the best on the team right there. Especially Mia Hamm. You know what I'm saying? There hasn't really been a player like that since this last group. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that team is crazy. I can't give you other names though.
You ever heard of the Battle of the Sexes?
I've heard of it. I can't remember why though.
That was the title of the match between Billie Jean King and Bobby Riggs. Now I'm going to read an excerpt from Business Insider. Although Riggs' chauvinistic personality was exaggerated for publicity, he still caught the ire of women whose athletic talent had been belittled by men. After defeating Margaret Court in 2 sets, he found another taker, King, who agreed to a lucrative financial offer. The second battle of the sexes occurred in the Astrodome, and King proceeded to make quick work of Riggs, defeating him in straight sets 6-4, 6-3, 6-3. The landmark victory served as proof that women's tennis deserve recognition at a high level sport.
That's dope. I think they've had a bunch of them since.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why it was really familiar to me.
I think let's talk about this real quick. Serena Williams.
Yeah. Serena
They
versus
have a
Federer.
battle of the sexes even right now. But let's say they had it a couple years ago. But right now, how many of the top male tennis players do you think she could beat?
Ooh, man. I mean, Federer and Nadal is going to be a very big challenge for her, I would think. I think she beats Andy. No problem.
Andy who?
Andy
Roddick?
Yeah.
Oh, I was like, ooh,
yeah.
I forgot. He did retire, but yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. I think she beats him no problem. Pete Sampras in his prime. I think she beats him too. But Federer and Nadal, I think it's going to be a real good challenge. I think it'd be a very good match between them two and her. You know what I'm saying? I think she beats what's his name? Jovic, or whatever his name is. Jokic, Jovic, yeah. Djokovic, yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I can't remember his first name.
Yeah.
Other notable milestones for women in sports. Catherine Switzer became the first woman to compete in Boston Marathon in 1967. Bobby Gibb was the first woman to compete in the Boston Marathon, but Catherine Switzer was the first woman to officially compete in it, entering the race under the gender-neutral name KV Switzer. She was given a race number and eventually strong resistance from race official Jock Semple, who shouted, "Get the hell off my race and give me those numbers," while attempting to rip off her number as she was running. Fortunately, her boyfriend was there to help fend him off, enabling her to finish the race. Women were allowed to participate in the marathon 5 years later.
Wow. Like he tried to strong armor.
Yes.
Wow.
Danica Patrick became the first woman to win an Indy car race in 2008.
Okay.
Her promising racing career began with Rookie of the Year honors for both the 2005 IndyCar Series and the 2005 Indianapolis 500. She led the Indy 500 late and finished in second place. But her first win didn't come until 3 years later when she stole the show at the Indy Japan 300, becoming the first woman to win an Indy race and any major U.S. sanctioned open wheel race. She finished the 2008 IndyCar Series in sixth place, her highest finish to date. And before we get out of the segment, one last key thing in women's sports. Actually, two of them. Let's start with the WNBA. Tipped off in 1997. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
Do you remember the first game?
That I don't remember.
First game was between the New York Liberty at the LA Sparks.
Okay.
And I even remember who scored the first basket. Penny Toller.
Oh wow. Okay.
I just remember that because that was a big thing. Obviously it was a layup, like first basket.
Right.
That was a big thing. The WNBA, this can take a whole episode, but I'll say this. When I was younger, the, the WNBA has had ebbs and flows of excitement.
Right.
And I feel like we're in an era now where it's exciting.
Yeah, it's exciting again. You know what I'm
The
saying?
beginning, it was exciting.
Yeah.
We had a lull in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Like it hit year 10, it started taking a dip. And I feel like the last 5 years, it's been like, okay, every year is getting better and better. And but the league is okay. We said 1997, almost 25 years.
Right.
So it's still in good shape. Can it be better?
Oh yeah, by far.
For sure. And to wrap up this segment, UConn women's basketball, who you gave the champ of the week, they went on a 90-game winning streak from 2008 to 2010. Look, when it comes to college basketball teams, they got to be in the top 3 of all time, men or women.
Oh yeah, by far.
Like
them and some of the Tennessee women's teams, by far.
Complete domination.
They've had multiple years of just being undefeated nonstop for like 90 plus games. You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous. Like they'll go through a spurt of like 3 or 4 years straight, and then something happens, and then they start it back up again. You know what I'm saying? It's wild.
Yep. That'll wrap it up here for our part 2 of Women in Sports History. BigThad.
Yes, sir.
Getting out of here. You got any last parting words for everyone out there listening right now?
Yeah, shout out to our women, man. Shout out to our women. You know, International Women's Day was the other day. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to all the women in our lives. You know what I'm saying? Definitely thank them for their support, their mentoring, pretty much everything. You know what I'm saying? Just thank them. Thank them so much.
Yep. I emphasize those sentiments, BigThad. Before we get out here, shout out to OSS 980, Harold D. Jeff Aaron, Soggy Nachos, Shut Your Face with Bernard, Neil, and some. Just Bear With Us podcast, the We Ain't Got Our Shit Together podcast, What You Expect, 4th and 13. Also, the Curls and Sports podcast. We had Erica Fernandez last week. Missed that episode. Make sure you check out episode 147. Make sure you check that out. Also, thank you to everyone out there who are watching right now on the live stream and everyone out there who listens when the podcast is released. Big shout out to my man Miguel Edwards, aka Miggy. Thanks for tuning in. Greatly appreciated. Until next time, everyone. Sports reality. Peace.